it's not just because I'm tall. It's because I'm like big. People, when they meet me, like they know I'm tall, but they don't know how big I am in just general dimensions.
I forget too, mate. I noticed you might have been out of earplugs.
Oh yeah, it was actually. Yeah. Oh, thanks.
I usually come home with a few in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's where
So the thing is, I actually have a tub of them, but I leave them at the freaking classroom over in Oakford.
Yeah.
So every time I come home, I'm like, I got to bring those back with me, and I just don't. And I hate wearing earplugs, earmuffs.
I saw you mention on one of your streams that you only use the musk when you run out of earplugs.
Yeah.
I saw you wearing the musk. I'll take you down some earplugs.
Yeah, I've got to buy another tub. Morning, guys. How you going? You can normally see when people have jumped into the chat by how many likes I get hit. Morning, Daniel. Stefan. Nope. Hey, you finally made it to a live stream. Congratulations, Steph. Stefan. Yeah, not Steph. I don't know why I stopped at Steph. Never mind. It's too early in the morning. Morning, Billy. Yes, I do. I have Techron-Matic.
Hey guys.
You guys probably recognize him from the streams. He's been a regular viewer on my channel. He also runs his own YouTube channel, if you haven't checked him out. But yeah, today he and I are going to be having some fun making hammers. I'm going to get the striking anvil out and shift everything around.
Shift the front of the way, or?
Yeah. We'll wander that over there. Open that channel. You don't want to face it. You want to back. Here. That way you've got room.
Yeah.
All right. Who else have we got? Yeah, I think the hammer billets that he's brought are mild steel. Yeah. Hey Evans, how you doing? But I might bring out something of mine and make a hardenable hammer as well. Depends on how well he swings hammer. All right, let's get this thing lit. Yes and no, Stefan. It depends on what hammer you're making. And it depends on how ornate you want to make the hammer. set this a little bit before we hammer out it. Cool, so I need to make another Viking style hammer for my business, so those aren't going to be much use in my gas storage, they're wide.
I like it.
Yeah, it's because they swell quite a bit. They'd be good for a charcoal fluid for here. Trying to get around the... Yeah, well, it's because Roy works with charcoal, with coal. He doesn't have to worry about that. That's why my hammerite tongs have got those really long points. So, now I've got to wait for them to preheat. There's always the longest and most boring part.
What's the stuff yet?
Huh?
You tried to wash the stuff yet?
Yes, it's freaking fucking hard, yeah. About 1060.
Yeah, I've got some which I tried to
I've got
another go.
If you look on the shelf there, I've got like 10 tons of it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I used to start punching the other hole. And I found it was bending, so I might be hard to test that again.
Yeah, well my current hammer eye punch is this one. Gold culture. It works. I could make one that's a lot better looking than this, but it works. So, hey Ned Villiers, how you going? So I'm not sure what kind of hammer do you want to make out of that mild steel? He's going to make a soft face tooling hammer, which basically means it's just going to be a block of steel with a hole in it. And the other one, my little block of inch by inch, 1045, I'm going to turn into a Viking style crossbeam hammer.
We stand from the edge and go to fancy.
That's awesome, man. That is pretty cool, Daniel. Yeah, I actually had Roy. We actually had Roy on the podcast on the Forgecast. We interviewed Roy for next week's episode. So if you guys want to hear how that went, make sure to tune into the Forgecast on iTunes, Spotify, all those places. We'll be uploading that on Friday. Our most recent episode came out yesterday, talking about, I think we were talking about hammers in this episode. I'm not quite entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, next week's episode we'll have Roy there as well. So. Back when Polo was still selling 1040, I bought a whole bunch. So that inch, my inch comes from. I'm not sure if they sell it now. So my missus does forging occasionally, and she needs a smaller hammer. She just can't swing the bigger hammers. Plus, most Viking style hammers were actually quite small. Wrought iron. Well, yeah, and you know, the quality of the steel they had and the amount of steel they had, they couldn't make huge hammers. Well, they put high carbon steel faces on them. So that was true of pretty much everything that they did. They put high carbon on the edge. Welding the face to it. Not to a hammer, no. I've done it on axes.
Well, Brick's got that wagon wheel skill down. Oriented the right way, be able to see that line strong.
Yeah, I've actually got a block here. That's wrought iron.
Yeah.
That's a cross brace of a piece of Bangkok chain. Well, yeah, that's what I'm planning to do with it. I just I don't like welding in this forge because the thermal mass is so high that it sucks all the heat out of the piece. No, I do it in junk or whatever. So that'll be something for when winter comes around again. Hey Jared, how you going? Yeah, that's it. Wrought iron with carbon steel forge weld. Not that we'll be doing that this stream. Whenever I work with a striker, it's easy to just sit down. Certainly does, yeah. One of my friends, Adam Fromholtz, makes some really nice wrought iron hammers with forge welded faces. And I will be making one myself out of that piece of anchor chain. That one right there. But that'll have to wait for winter. About breaking this one. Sorry.
That's all cast iron.
Yeah, cast iron. Chinese cast iron crap. My first anvil. Welding to cast iron almost never works.
Cast iron.
Well, yeah, you can get cast iron rods, but welding the tool steel to the cast iron doesn't work very well.
Oh, I think it does.
Yeah, Roy has made one. I think it was almost half a year ago. Well, that must be nice, Jared. It's really hard to come across wrought iron over here. You're gonna have to excuse my voice. I've been sick as a dog this week. Yeah, no, it's hasn't been made since the 80s, so. Give her a tap on the side there. Hey Logan. Yeah, so it's going to have an upset end, one end, and then the other end will have a cross beam on it. It just increases the mass for the size of the base. Yeah, that's it. I'm widening, I'm upsetting the metal back on itself to create a wider hammer face. Too early in the morning to be drinking. Yeah, I do have Patreon, Logan. Jared says hi.
Hey, Jared.
Well, I appreciate you coming to watch the stream, Stefan. Yeah, Jared, I've got your touch mark blank here. Just got to get to work on it. I still haven't. You haven't been reminding me. It's not good enough. That's how I normally do it.
Yeah.
You just need to have a little. Huh? Yeah, okay.
Get used to playing this now.
You just have to be really careful.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Jared. Ovaltine. Vinny. Hang on, guys. They're all discussing coffee in the chat. We've already had our coffee for the morning. Too late on that one. We might have to have another one. Vinny says hi. Vinny says hi.
Yeah, Vinny.
Yeah, for those of you who've just joined, I have Techron Matic with me, swinging the hammer. Let's give Roy's a try. So these tongs here, Techron won in a giveaway from Roy at Dry-Standard Ironworks. Yes, we're making a hammer. We're actually making two. So some people use wax or charcoal dust or something like that to lubricate their punches. I haven't found it necessary, but that's because I also do very short hammer heats, where I do like 3 strikes and then out and into water to cool off my punch, and that shrinks the punch a little bit and keeps the hole nice and wide. But yeah, lubricating your punch is advised. How's it going, Ben B? Morning, mate. That's true. Yeah, taper on your punch. My punch is quite shallow taper. Makes it a lot easier to pull out. They do make punch lube. It's a mix of like a paste wax and coal dust, basically. I'm just going to dress the struck end on this because it started chipping. Who needs vibro? Who needs eye protection?
Oh, eye protection.
I have two eye protect. I have two eyes. I can lose one. That's why I got a spare. Alright, just because you asked, I'll have to go get my eye protection.
How you got that one? I'm already not going to hit where I want. That's what two of us.
There you go, you happy? Right, it's okay. Alright. Get the shit on the road.
Hey,
That was close.
why didn't you catch it?
Yeah, no, thank you. Singed some fluff off my fluff off my Jared, thank you for the eye protection. Woo, that was scary. Okay. Don't try this at home, kids. Woo! That was that was close. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, right there. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm still wearing them, Jared. Hey, Roy. Thanks for checking in, mate. Roy's here.
Hey, g'day, Roy.
Yeah, Roy, we got Tekron here as well.
Sam's no good at catching hot steel, Roy.
Yeah, I'm no good at catching it. Yeah, I'm glad the chip didn't land in someone's eye either. Yeah, I know, he'll be back in. Apparently Roy's in the forge at the moment, so we'll be checking in and out. That was fun.
Yeah.
I'm just really glad it didn't land on my lap.
That's all I think about as far as sitting down. If you went stand up and incline it, you dropped off balance.
Yeah, unfortunately, standing up, I got
Yeah. You watching it play?
Is that? Yeah. P4 just sitting down all the time. Well, it's fairly traditional in that area because he lives in Thailand, so most of the Thai Smiths forge sitting out.
Exactly. That's the hammer. They haven't done one
Yeah, so the tool did chip a couple of times. The thing is that the struck ends of my tools are very soft, so the chip didn't come off very fast. And that's the other reason I use a cast iron anvil, is that thing does break and chip and stuff like that, but the chips basically just crumble off rather than pinging off at like light speed. So yeah, I've dressed the end of the tool, so it's all dressed and stuff, but that's very soft. I actually annealed this tool before I hardened the tip, and I only ever heated that much of the piece to harden it. So the rest of this is still annealed. They don't make lazy guided hammers, unfortunately. It's hard to keep a tight grip on these tongs when they're so wide apart. punched hole. Not that you can see. Yeah, there we go. You can actually see the hole now. Nice clean slug. That's what I like to see. Very clean.
Bit of a difference, eh?
Yeah, and that's another one there. That's the other slug. Nice and clean. Alright, so let's just shut the forge up for a sec. Because we're going to have to make a bit of a change of scenery. Because now we have to drift it. And we don't do that one here. And Roy, if you're watching, you probably recognize these. These were made by you, funnily enough. These are the ones that Techron won in your giveaway. Now they're all talking to themselves. Cool. Oh, yeah, well, that didn't work.
You could do a couple more stumps here.
Huh?
You could do a couple more stumps, I guess, could you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring a couple down. Come down.
Alright, I actually want it a bit further that way because I don't want to be right in front of the forge when I'm hitting. Place it that way. And before you all comment that I need to change my able stand, I know. I'm building a new one. That's, I'm not sure if you can see in the corner there, but there's a whole bunch of 90 by 90
Yeah.
there. And I've also got an incredibly long auger and some very long bolts. And I'm going to bolt together my own square anvil stand. Whew.
Yeah, do that on
All right. So,
You gonna do that on the live stream?
huh?
You gonna do that on the live stream?
Yeah.
Good.
Just turn the forge off so that we can move around and not waste gas. Yeah, so we punched 2 eyes, 2 hammer eyes. Don't worry guys, the stream isn't over yet. We've only been going 43 minutes. Got one little 1045 hammer eye, nice and clean. And you guys already saw the mild steel one. So now we're going to drift them. That's why we have a hammer eye drift that I made a long time ago. In a video, funnily enough. But first, I'm going to fill up a water bottle because it's freaking hot. You want a drink, Tegra?
Yeah, a glass of water would be good. Yes, it's still pretty hot here. It's not as hot as it has been a couple of weeks ago, but I think probably still up in the sort of mid-30s going into today. Oh, I think it's a bit higher than 22 at the moment, Jared.
There you go. Make sure to stay hydrated, kids. Snowing in Michigan. Well, we wish we had snow.
Oh, I don't know about that.
22. No, it's more like 28. Probably it's working its way towards 30. It'll probably be about 31.
Yeah, we'll get like 30 this afternoon.
That's why I do these in the morning. Whew. Okay, so drifting. It's always fun.
Yeah.
It's a one-man job, so
I'll read some comments and stuff on that.
Yeah, all good. You can be the cameraman.
Yeah, do you want to set up a bit closer?
Yeah, you can flip the camera around, and the comments will show up for you.
Oh, okay.
And
Is
you
that
can
just as good the footage then?
And those tripod legs go together, and they act as a handle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me holding it, that's going to weigh. Who's getting seasick?
Yes. It's just really fun stuff. All right, so what am I doing? I'm standing here like a dickhead. For any questions you may have, you can refer to Matt, and he will then ask me if he can't answer them already.
I think they've got their own conversations going.
Ah, well, that's a good thing. Except when I'm using drift or when I'm forge welding. So that's why I made a longer trip.
Nice, Stefan, nice forge. Did you?
No, that was actually built by a local a long time ago, about 20 years ago. I bought it off the spring manufacturer here in Rockingham. And yeah, so it's not the greatest forge. To be honest, it's got a lot of thermal mass, and so therefore it kind of doesn't get up to welding temperatures very well. It doesn't hold heat very well because there's so much heat getting put into the clay around the forge body. It's the whole forge weighs about 85 kilos. It's a very, very hefty piece of machinery. I'm actually planning on scrapping it and building a new one. Eventually. I'll get around to it. Round up their ponies.
I'm just waiting for the comments.
Actually, this time it's the brain engine. Looking cool is secondary. Being able to see is primary.
Rearranging the furniture with guys. outside, look at him swing that hammer like a beast. Rocking his whole amble.
Oh.
Oh, hopefully when that stand's built, it won't rock quite so much.
What?
Hopefully when the new stand's built, the amble won't rock around so much.
Hopefully so, yeah. That's the aim.
My brother always gives me a hard time about how much my amble moves around. bud.
Hey, Jonas. How you doing, mate?
You're arrested.
Huh?
You're arrested.
You like?
I didn't get this one. Well, that usually bigger hammer is snap.
Yes, we can these. Hey, it's less close. Hey, see you, Logan. Hopefully you heard me. Let's see you, mate. Here we go. Just hold on to the drift. Just hold on to the drift. Grab the drift. Oh, drop forged. Again. Hey, Kenneth. How you doing, buddy? It is a farrier's anvil. Did you believe? It is a farrier's anvil. You can't see it from this angle, but on the other side there are shoe turning points. If you want, just pull that smaller hammer billet out. I'll work on that corner on my side. Huh?
One out.
Huh? Yeah, look. I've got to draw down the crossbeam on it.
Yeah, pull that.
Huh?
Pull that.
You can, but it's not really necessary. Yeah, it's a nice anvil, this one actually. Bought it brand new. Yeah, just give up. It's horrible. Needs another wedge, does it?
Huh?
Needs another wedge, does it?
Oh, no, that's like stuff in the box. Pretty good.
The anvil is an oak wire, as you can tell. I bought it here in Australia, but I believe they're made in in Ireland.
Huh? Chuck him in the box.
Yeah, I believe they're made in Ireland. Originally, they were made in China for a while. They were cast iron, so the old oak wires aren't the greatest. But the new oak wires are cast 4140. My mag tank's pretty good there, mate. Like I haven't got my main mag tank with me. That's just my current one, which is just a pair of plastic buckets. I have to go out to my classroom and film my other mag tank for Valhalla's challenge. I will do in 2 seconds, mate. I'm just going to let him do this drifting heat. So you only want to forge the section that's at the top of the drift. So you only want to forge the cheeks at the highest point of the drift.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise what you do is end up squishing that taper back in. section that's closest to your hand. If it's not getting loose, put the faces on the handle, and then forward the faces. Yeah, pretty good. Still needs quite a bit of drifting. Okay, so as Wolf Party asked, let's go around the other side. So there's your horseshoe turning tines. So that's the overall. Roy says it's good to see you swinging a hammer. Oh, you want to trade off again?
Yeah, feel it?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, find this hammer.
Huh?
Hey, find this hammer.
I fucking hate them.
That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like what happens. Besides, when I'm driving a drift, I don't use the 3 down. I use 4.5.
That's coming up.
No, not really. It scoots down, but it doesn't come off. That's where the resin used to be. I can always cheat. Thanks, Nidalee. Yeah, that's Tacron, mate. I haven't come up with a name for my amble. Carrie Fisher, I get it. Welcome back, no way. I'm glad it wasn't required. Getting a bit warm.
Yeah, I didn't want to pick it up the tank.
Yeah, no, good idea.
I can see how the behavior is.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm lucky because I've got worked in the metal trade most of my career. I'm lucky, obviously, but very obviously.
Don't you mean Carrie Fisher was played by Leia? We all know she had a bit of a magic in her. It's not how it works. So says you, mate. So says you. Ice in the workshop. Over there. It's the release of pressure, Vinny. So LPG is naturally a cool gas, but because it's liquid in the bottle and it's sublimating into gas through the hose, it's creating like the sublimation process is an endothermic reaction and creates a cool environment. So basically, over time, because of the sublimation of the liquid gas, you end up getting a cooling effect. Give a tap on the faces. Oh, the swage block. Rebound. Yeah, basically the higher pressure you run your bottle at, the faster the sublimation happens, which means the faster it cools down, which means the faster it's likely to freeze over. And as it freezes over, obviously the sublimation can't take place because it needs heat in order to take place. So you're better off switching the bottle or sticking it in a bucket of water. To increase the thermal mass, try and encourage more sublimation. Yeah, I just haven't made a stand for it. It's something that's on my list, but I've been a bit lazy with that. I've had it for almost a year now. I could, Nidvalir, but I'm also lazy. I actually plan on trading out the I'm actually planning on trading out some 45 kilo bottles rather than just a little baby 8 kilos. Getting there. Slowly. You want to trade out again or you good? You need one of these.
Yeah. I've got to bring a camo one, but I had a rag there with a camo on it. But that's been on my head right.
I got a couple of spares over there.
Got a bit of camouflage.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens, Vinny. It's just the sublimation process. Yeah, well, charcoal doesn't have that problem, but unfortunately, given it's fire ban season, I don't want a $10,000 fine for running my forge.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Yeah, well, take it off and flip it round and do one more drift, and she's done.
You know when it's rough and you start turning.
That's why I normally wear the glove. Gloves would help if I hadn't left them at my if I haven't left at my classroom, so it's alright.
Yeah, no doubt.
Chuck it on top of the forge, yeah. No, not quite. Well, you can, but you know, probably need to cool that drift off a bit.
Yeah. I thought that when I picked it up.
Alright, you want to hand me that drift? Plug it back in and hand me that drift, or is that as wide as you want it?
Yeah. Only got a bit of chasing hammer that one.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. I'll just I'll wait for it to cool down. It's still glowing, so I don't like quenching my drifts when they're still glowing. Woo! That's warm. Gets warm in here.
Yeah.
That's why I like forging in winter.
It's not bad in the morning if you get up early enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we'll flip the camera around for a minute. We're not done yet. We're just We're just taking a minute break. Yeah, I'll be doing that in a future video, Viddy. Very, very soon. I've got to go out to my workshop. Good. It's a good drift, that one.
Yeah, that's nice.
4140. Holds up pretty good, even at heat, so.
I used to get pins out of cone crushers about this size, but I haven't got any anymore.
Yeah, this is actually old axle.
Okay.
I had a whole bunch of it, but I'm kind of starting to run low.
Yeah.
This was inch round. I've got 3/4 over there.
Well, if you ever get cone crusher cone crusher pins, they would make a good grip.
Yeah, S7's great if you can find it.
Gonna see if I can find some gloves in the car.
Yeah, all good.
What do I need? Out of there?
I'm just going to go run this drift under the tap. I wish I had my big quench tank with me, but that's at my classroom, so instead I'm just running it under the tap. Running water quenches things faster than anything else anyway. Yeah, S7 is ridiculously expensive for what it is. But it is a very good steel. Yeah, that'd work.
You might like these, mate. These are actually blue ninja gloves.
All right, there you go. Are they nylon though?
Yeah, I mean they might help holding the drift a little bit, but it's certainly not going to stop.
Last thing you want to do is use nylon stuff in your forge, guys. It's a good way to get molten plastic attached to your hands.
I sometimes put these underneath warming a bit more.
Yeah, the forge heats up quite well actually. It's still not the greatest forge. Because of one of the reasons that we're so hot right now is because that thing is a massive thermal sink, like a heat sink, and so it's just radiating heat throughout the shop. And that's one of the reasons why it doesn't hold forge welding temperature very well. It's because it has so much thermal mass that the gas is trying to heat up the forge just as well as everything else. I have some H13, but it's not big enough to make drifts. I'm thinking I might make a hammer eye punch out of it though, when I get around to it. Josh Gaunt from GT Edgeworks actually sent that to me as part of a trade, along with a bunch of other stuff. It can be, it's all insulated anyway. Like I'm not sure what you can see. I'll flip the camera around and you can have a look. The bricks on the floor and the walls are actually a medium density cast refractory, but the roof, which is cracking, and the floor and the walls are all high density clay, fired clay, and they tend to be very, thermally sucking. The English, not my language right now. They suck heat a lot. They tend to be a big heat sink. Oh. Yeah, they suck big time.
It's the heat, mate.
Huh?
It's the heat. It slows the brain down.
Yeah, oh man, seriously. So yeah, no, I'm planning on building an entirely new forge, preferably a round body. and using Kaowool or Isowool and Satanite to make sure that it's a little bit less thermally conductive.
I've got a big car gas tank if you want it.
Is that?
I've got a big car gas tank, but it's still,
Yeah,
still
I've
full of gas.
got access to a whole bunch of them. It's just whether or not I have the time to build one or the energy. I come out here a lot of the time and it's like, I just want to forge. And then I get to the end of the day and I'm like, screw it, I've wasted so much gas, I need to build that new forge.
Well, the thing is, when you start building something, that's my problem at the moment with this treble hammer. I can't do any forging because everything's in the way. I've dragged everything out the way for forging to make room for me build, and I might have to have a break from that project and
Yeah, Daniel's got it. You need to have some Isowool or Kaowool. Fans?
I'll talk it for the heating here.
Yeah, I normally have a fan in here. It doesn't really. It's not really necessary. It's just heat. The radiant heat. It's good fun though. Like, you can really feel the heat off the walls on this thing.
You could put it close to the door and have a fan sort of blowing it out, but
Yeah, well,
it's still going to heat up.
but I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's still going to radiate this way.
like most forges with Isowool or low density refractory tend to not low density refractory tend to not heat up on the outside as much, but this one should not be doing that, but it is. But you know, that's life. I bought this forge like 3 years ago for like $100. And it serves the purpose, and it's really good for forging hammers and stuff because it's so large. But yeah, I definitely want to trade up. Alright, so those two that you forged were mild steel, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just forge the peen on the 1045 and then we can get to grinding.
Alright.
Alright. Firing up the forge again. Stick you in a place where you can see what I'm doing. This shouldn't take long. This isn't my first rodeo.
See, the camera's getting hot.
Yes, the phone is ridiculously hot.
Oh, am I sure I want to stop screaming? No.
No, don't do that. If the screen drops out, guys, it's because the camera is overheated. That's all. Okay, don't do that.
Yeah, it's hot. Very hot.
Yeah, if the phone overheats, it'll shut off. So if the screen stops, it's because the phone overheated.
All of the phones exploded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how much heat that lithium battery can handle.
Yeah, I'm hoping the lithium will hold up. Probably not helping it sitting next to the forge.
Jared says that van's looking pretty good. Jared was just saying, the bird's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's stages pretty well, so I don't feel it anymore.
Vinny says he's no smith, but he's been slowly. Hang on. He's slowly been getting into the craft, start making stuff snap.
Yeah, Vinny, you don't have an excuse anymore. My normal tripod in the house.
Ah, this is more fun. You should take my
For
tripod
those of you
now.
who don't know, Techron set up the most janky. It's on one of my bins and a board of Wandu
Matches the anvil stand.
and the anvil stand at the top.
It's a plastic bin too, so if it all comes crashing down.
That's alright. I was watching a channel. I won't name the channel because I don't want to name and shame. There's a channel out there. The guy has his charcoal forge, which is just basically like a sink, an old sink, a sheet metal sink, with a hairdryer sitting underneath it, blowing through the sinkhole. And the whole thing is sitting on a drum with some cinder blocks, and then the forge is sitting on top of it. It's about this tall. Right, and the whole thing rocks and wobbles while he's using it. And actually, in one of the videos, the actual forge collapses and dumps charcoal all over his backyard. And yet, the next video, he's using exactly the same setup. That scares me. At least in this case, it's just a camera. If I did this,
Something's come up here which I'm going to get rid of. It's still screaming though.
that,
I've touched something on it.
what have you done?
I don't know, maybe done. I don't think it's affecting the stream, so. Yeah, just leave it.
Fuck.
Maybe try flipping the camera, flip it over.
Huh. No idea. Oy. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Nat. Techron screwing with my stuff.
Yeah,
guys.
me technology, it's not a good mixer.
Blame Techron. Stuff never happens when I'm doing stream.
You think of a name like Techron, I'll be good at technology.
You think? Really well for small stuff, right?
Roy says, pray for me, I'm about to start quenching tool skill.
What's that?
Roy says, pray for me, I'm about to start quenching tool skill.
You're in my thoughts and prayers, Roy. One last drifting heat, and then we'll cool them all off and do some grinding. Actually, got some heat for one. That water is pretty close to boiling anyway.
Yeah, you can make a cup of tea out of that.
Yeah. That's why there are two buckets there. It's just in case you melt through the first one. And that is that. So now just let that cool down on its own, and we'll run to the grinder. Whew. Normally put them somewhere out of the way. All right. See how warm these are. Woo, that's warm. Some warm water. Yeah. You'd think with such a large hammer in there. Oh look, I got both. Trick shot, managed to get both at once. So they're still pretty warm, because the water itself is pretty warm. But that's, I managed to punch 2 hammers and drift 1 hammer. That one's punched and drifted, that one's punched and drifted. And I won't pick that one up. With my fingers, at least. And that one's punched and drifted. Now this one on top is 1045. The other 2 are mild steel, and this one is going to be a Viking style, or Viking-ish, Viking-inspired crossbeam hammer. I'm interested to know how much it weighs, but we'll have to let it cool down because my scale is made of plastic. It's a good way to melt your scale if you drop.
Oh, Wolf Party asked before, what are you making?
What am I making? Hammers.
I'm
There you go.
that was
Look at
earlier. I'm not real good at reading comments.
I'm gonna have to train up Techron, guys. He's terrible at running live streams. That's all right. Good.
Alburos, I had a couple of billets there of mild steel, just some offcuts that I had. So one of those, the smaller one will be for doing just some chasing, and the other one will be for hitting tooling.
Yeah, so yeah, 2 mild steel, 2 blocks of mild steel on the bottom, and then this one is a 1045. So that one will be heat treated. We've just got to wait for it to cool down. It's pretty much past the red. It's not quite past red yet. I don't want to quench it until it's past that red color because it's 1045 and it can harden. These ones we did quench because, you know, you can't harden mild steel.
It does harden a little bit.
You can try.
It does harden a
If
little bit.
you use super quench, you can get them to toughen up a little bit, but you can't really harden them. But yeah, that's still hot enough to burn wood, so I don't want to quench that one. Whew. All right, so grinder time. You want to run the grinder?
How about you just do that?
The little 1045 one.
1045 one. Oh, unless you want to, do you want to put a couple of chamfers on the small one, maybe?
Well, it's up to you, man. You're hammers.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have a go at it. I've never actually used a.
2x72?
I've used Linishing belts occasionally at work.
Well, this will be an experience.
You can teach me.
This is going to be good fun, guys. We get to watch Techron use a 2x72 for the first time. But first, you might want to take these out and run them under. Like they're not hot.
So wear those.
Like I can hold them. So.
I'll wear those for the grind.
Yeah. No, don't wear gloves on the grinder. No. But you might want to just run these under the tap. While he's doing that, I'm gonna talk to the wonderful people here. So the drift is 4140. Hello. Hello. So we're about to run the grinder, and then we might heat treat that 1045 hammer if I can get it ground in time. Don't want the stream to be too long. Hey. So yeah, hi Caitlin, how you going? The drift is 4140. Cooled them off?
Yeah.
Alrighty, cool. So let's go to the grinder. So most of you will be familiar with my fire ant grinder, and thanks to my new Wi-Fi booster, I have got from Valhalla Ironworks 43 more to go. Wow, that's a hell of a lot of quenching to do there, Roy. So we've just got a worn 50 grit zirconium belt on there. It's not the best metal grinding belt, but seeing as we're going to be grinding through scale and you know, they're only mild steel, I'm not too worried about it. So fire ant grinder. Yeah, no, it was great for Alex to do that. So our grinder, run, speed control. Now the readout is in surface feet per minute. So, the maximum surface feet per minute you can get out of this is 7,092, which is one of the fastest off-the-shelf grinders you can get in the world. You can modify grinders to be that fast, but this comes this fast straight out of the gate. And you can roll it down all the way to 700 surface feet per minute. So if I run it at 700, yeah, that's Techron speed.
Yeah. You want to just clean up all the surfaces?
Well, yeah, you know, if you want to profile it a little bit. Fortunately, with the 2 horsepower motor running off a 3-phase VFD, it's got a lot of torque. But as you can tell, it doesn't remove a lot of material at that speed. So take the hammer off. Yeah, not bad. At least you're not standing 6 feet away from the grinder.
Like I said, I'm used to the limited belt, so.
It's a beautiful grinder.
Yeah, I can see the impression I haven't one already. So, yeah.
And that's with a worn out belt.
I mean, you haven't got the weight of an angle on you swinging around and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And you can put quite a bit of force into it. Oh, awesome, Jared. Yeah, well, given that I feel a little bit better today, I think I might get to engraving your touch marks.
You got some water here?
Yeah, really warm bucket over there. Hold on. I'll set this camera up and I'll go fill the bucket again.
That's a big quarter I ended up when I punched this one, so. There you go.
Come around this side. $2,500 Australian, Nidvilliers. Yeah, I'm drinking my water, Daniel. Thanks for checking in, though. Yeah, it's not cheap, but most 2x72 grinders aren't. All right, just hit the stop button. Hit the stop button. I'll get you to trade out for the fresh belt. Now, one of the wonderful things about the Fire Ant is if you push the tooling arm down, which is this arm here, instead of having to fight against the pressure of the post all the time, it locks in place. So you can just strip the belt off. Yep, slip a new belt on. The only thing is you got to make sure it's clear of that little bit on the post.
This bit?
Yeah.
Above it?
Yeah. And then all you do is lift the handle and it'll lock in place. It's self-truing, so you don't have to worry about if it's straight or not. You just hit start.
Oh, that's it there, right?
That's it.
Now this won't heat up anymore with a bigger belt light.
So it'll heat up less. It will still heat up, but it'll heat up less. It'll also remove a hell of a lot more material. Yeah, Nidvalia, well, unfortunately, the amount of research and development that goes into these kinds of grinders means that they're not cheap. But this thing has so much versatility in a blacksmith shop that it's I couldn't do without it these days. I mean, it's not obvious because of Techron's taking his time and being very careful with the grinder, but this thing's a beast, an absolute beast. Well, it's running at 7,000 surface feet per minute, and one of my favorite things to do, hold on, Techron, is, so this is a file, it's a hardened half-round file, hasn't been annealed or anything like that. If I do it here, it absolutely munches steel. Yep. Yeah, with a fresh belt, you touch this belt, you're going to remove a lot of skin. You can see the spark trail that it leaves. And this was developed here in Western Australia. They're now shipped out of South Australia, but they do ship worldwide. So this is a 50 grit belt. Okay, well, he's worn this belt down quite a bit with the scale on the sides of the hammers and stuff. I'll get you to hold the camera. This is half inch square mild steel. I'm just going to make a mark. Pretty sure you can see that mark. Yep, right there. So you can see what that mark is. This is my full body weight, like zoom out to see, like, so you can see what I'm doing. Both hands, full body weight. I can push as hard as I like.
Oh,
There goes the belt.
Roy says lovely machine.
So you can see the mark now is about an inch closer to the end than it was before. And the belt didn't snap, it just walked off the grinder. And that's what happens when you put too much weight in it.
I think you pushed it off.
The other thing is that you don't have to put the belt on straight. Self-screwing. Because the wheels are crowned, it naturally goes back to center. And it's got a really positive...
Oh.
Fire up. Set fire myself. It's got a really positive tracking adjustment.
can see the belt moves quite quickly with the tracking adjustment. It's a really beautiful machine.
I'm a little bit of run. Got to start that stuff.
So the billet isn't quite square, but I just put the chamfer on.
Yeah. Yeah, I found it pretty awkward trying to hold on that angle.
Yeah,
Top and bottom, but
it's a matter of practice. You'll
yeah.
notice that I'm basically bracing against my stomach,
Yeah.
and I'm getting right into it. And I'm putting my finger underneath it.
Yeah.
The trick is not to touch the belt.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So have you done that a few times?
I'll be done.
Yeah.
Actually, touching the face of the belt is not as bad as touching the edge.
Yeah.
You imagine a super high speed paper cut with grit in it. I mean, it depends on how clean you want it.
Ouroboros asked, do you know the motor horsepower?
It's a 2 horsepower motor.
2 horsepower. Wolf Party says, and it's quiet.
Huh?
Wolf Party says it's quiet.
It's quiet-ish, comparatively. Yeah, comparatively speaking, it is a quiet little little grinder. I'm just going to grind that 1045 piece. Now it's cooled off.
We got hammers flying everywhere today.
Oh man.
It wasn't as bad as it looked for the party.
Yeah, I was out of the way.
Jared says, go shoot up a kangaroo and use his hide to make an apron.
I have an apron, I just left it in my classroom, along with pretty much 90% of my tooling.
And that's our national emblem you're talking about killing there, yeah?
Yeah, well, you know, they're also tasty.
True.
I like to put a pretty heavy crown on most of my forging tools.
Around the team, around the face.
What?
It's amazing what a good 2x72 will do. But so for the last thing I think we'll do this forge stream is we'll just heat this up and quench it. I'll just take, whoops, water over here.
So you're just doing a water quench on that one now?
Yeah, I water quench all of my 1045. It just doesn't get hard enough in oil. Like, it barely hardens in oil. These Venturi burners from Yamaco are really good because you can control the air quite easily.
I got two of those delivered the other week, the ones that Dan Moss put a link up for. So, virtually identical to that, I think. So.
Yeah, and then with the controllable, the really easily controlled regulator, you can get a nice, cool, rich flame quite easily. I'm gonna turn the air just a little bit up. I don't want it quite rolling, like I don't want it rocking. I want those blue flames coming out because that means that I'm running a little too much propane, or LPG in this case, but that means that there's no oxygen inside the forge. Which means that I'm not going to oxidize my hammer billet, which means that there's not going to be any decarb at the surface. At least in theory. A good way to test that is if you're heating your piece of steel up in your gas forge, and it gets to a point where you think it's hot enough to create, like that temper colors, but it's not coloring, like it's still silver in the forge, and the moment you pull it out at temper colors, that means that you're running a nice rich flame. Like, I'm wondering if this is hot enough yet. You can see it's silver in the forge right now. You can see it's still silver, it hasn't changed color. The moment I remove it, nope, not quite yet. Spoke too soon. But basically, because there's no oxygen in the forge, it won't get to temper colors because the temper colors are the oxidization of the steel. So what ends up happening is that once you remove it from the forge, it hits that wall of oxygen outside of the forge and immediately temper colors. I always love doing it because it looks really cool. You need to get it up to where it's that peacock blue color, and then it looks really awesome when it comes out. Let's try it again. So it's still silver, immediate peacock blue.
That's sharpened it well on the camera, I think.
No, it's hard to tell, but yeah, you saw it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely blue.
But it went from silver to blue almost instantaneously. That's how you can tell you're running a nice rich flame. And funnily enough, when you're doing forge welding in a gas forge, you actually want a rich flame as well, although running at a much higher temperature, in order to avoid decarb and also to avoid oxidization of the billet. Because if you're running a rich atmosphere, you don't need as much flux. It's the same idea as a neutral fire in a coal forge or a charcoal forge, that point in the forge where all of the charcoal is burning all of the oxygen up, and so therefore you're not oxidizing your pieces, which when you're forge welding mild steel, for instance, you don't need to use flux at all. You can get the same effect in a gas forge, it just takes a little bit more tricking around with it. Normally a good sign is either dull yellow or bright blue flames coming out of the front of your forge. If that's what's happening, then you're normally at a good neutral atmosphere. A lot of people I see running gas forges for the first time tend to over-oxidize their fires. They get them really roaring, they get the pencil blue flame and all that kind of stuff, and that just oxidizes steel away so fast. And that's why they get a lot of decarb. And that's a really bad thing for bladesmiths especially. But yeah, that's why I like these Yamaco burners, is the really easily adjustable air with the screw top air and the really easily adjustable regulator, although I prefer a regulator that had a pressure gauge. This one doesn't. You just kind of have to do it by ear. They're really useful for getting a really good handle on things.
Yeah, even that small one I got, I found fantastic the amount of heat that pumps out.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, especially if you put it in the right size forge for it. I'm not sure if Alex Steele's still selling the burners through his website, but he used to sell Gamaco burners, and if you're in the US, I think he might have moved his distribution company to there. So if you're looking for Gamaco burners over in the United States, I think Alex Steele still sells them. Because he had an export deal with them for a while. Forgeburners.com, I'm not sure if it's still running or not. That luffing you can hear in the forge is because there's a slight cross breeze, and anytime that air goes through the forge, because it's running at such a low temperature with so little air, it's kind of blowing out the flame, but because it's so hot in the forge, it's reigniting instantly. So it's not something to be scared of if there is a bit of luffing in your forge. If it's really badly luffing, like it's going fluff, 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 then that normally means you're running way too low a propane amount, or you're running too little air. But the main advantage of running a forge like this at this temperature is that basically I can just leave that hammer in there forever, and it's going to get up to the heat treating temperature and just stay there forever. I don't have to worry about overheating my billet or underheating my billet. I have practiced with this forge enough that I know what settings will provide what heat. If you have a new forge that you're trying to work on, you can just get a pyrometer and kind of play around with your settings until you get your perfect heat. I would suggest that for doing this kind of stuff, because obviously with a pyrometer you can reliably get heats. But I have practiced enough, and I know that I've got a kind of an area of effect that I can use for 1045. It's fairly forgiving steel. If I wanted to get the absolute best heat treat possible ever imaginable with this steel, then I would want to either get an even heat kiln or make a heat treating kiln myself. But I'm not that interested. I know what works. How are we doing on battery power? I don't think we have much battery left. You swipe down from the top, you'll be able to see it on the top bar.
8%.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you're about dead, I think.
Yeah, we're about to lose the camera. Might need to go get the charger quickly.
Okay.
Bear with me. Everyone can keep you entertained.
Oh. Won't get too close to the forge so we don't heat this phone up. So I'm just looking through the comments.
Screaming really does drain the battery.
It does, doesn't it?
There you go. Okay.
It's getting pretty close, huh?
Yeah, it's getting there. I want it to be a nice even
All the way through.
color all the way through, yeah. The cheeks get up to heat faster than the rest of it because the cheeks are thinner. So you're always going to have hot cheeks and cold sides, which when you're heating in the gas forge is you've got to be very careful of, because if you're not running around the right heat, then the cheeks will overheat. And you'll get increased grain growth in your cheeks, which means that there's more likely to crack the hammerhead in half. Oh, it's overheated. Oh, God. Okay, we're going to lose the forge.
Straight.
Cheers, Ed. We're going to lose the stream in a minute because we're about to run out of battery, and the charger won't work because the phone's too hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm right up to the temperature I need. I'm going to quench this quickly. Shut the forge off. Got to keep it moving to prevent the lead and frost effect, the bubble jacket.
Sam, hit me up about the forge cast whenever.
Yeah, man, I will do. I'll send you a message. So we've got a bunch of people lined up to come in. Roy actually was on our most recent.
Nidaville's, he's just leaving.
See you later, Nidavellir. Alright, so that happened. I can see by the grey colour that it's turned that martensite has formed.
Yeah.
The grey behind the black. The black is just the iron oxide, the grey is the raw material. Now, one thing about 1045 is even if you harden it fully in water, it will not be hard enough to skate a file, which I'm looking for a file right now, but...
That was the one you were grinding on before.
Yeah, there's this file, highly reliable file.
I guess that's a future knife, I take it.
Yeah, eventually. But as you can see, it's not skating the file, but it's a lot harder file than it was when it was annealed. But that's kind of natural for this. And now what I'll do is I'll throw this in my oven, my tempering oven, for 2 hours at about 180, 200 degrees Celsius, and that'll just soften it a little bit more and kind of relax the steel, make it so that it's not going to chip or crack. Anyway, guys, before we run out of battery, I would like to say that thank you very much for checking in on the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't hit like, make sure you do. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. I upload every Wednesday and I do a live stream on Saturday mornings, just like this one. I'd like to thank Techron for coming along and giving us a hand and having some fun in the forge. Hopefully we can get him out here again to do another one. Next weekend I will not be streaming from this forge. I will be streaming from a bloomery smelt at another forge up north, so keep an eye out for that because we will be live streaming the bloomery forge and we'll be live streaming removing the bloom from the smelter.
Roy's just said good night everyone. Congratulations Sam on the great hammer work, and to Techron.
Thank you very much, Roy.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. And yeah, everyone who's supported my channel, thank you very much. If you do want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon and you can donate through Ko-fi. The links are underneath most of my videos, so just check those out. It's patreon.com/SamTownsBladesmith or ko-fi.com/SamTownsBladesmith. You can also find me on Instagram at SamTownsBladesmith and on Facebook at SamTownsBladesmith. Anyway, guys, with that being said, we're going to get off here and I'm going to go put this phone in an icebox for a while. Thank you very much for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. Just hit the X at the top of the screen and press OK.